I had an interesting exchange with my Pleiadian guide. Just the other morning, I was sitting outside in the sun and I connected with her and we were discussing the ascension process, what's happening as we're moving up through the fourth dimensional field, where we've come from, where we're going, and how we need to take a more active role in the process to really assist in the integration of our multidimensional light. So she was explaining to me the process. And as this process begins, most of you that have gone through this or had a spiritual awakening know that you awaken. It's almost like entering a funnel. You awaken to your higher self, to your multidimensional energy. And down at the bottom, as you're entering this funnel, you start to have all of these incredible, amazing multidimensional experiences, connections, guides, things like that. Now, as we move up into the funnel, we start to get compressed a little bit. We start to shed a lot of the limiting beliefs. We bring awareness to them, to programming, subconscious stuff, right? And we start to work our way through that. We go through what many term as a dark night of the soul, where we're feeling disconnected, but we're doing a lot of inner work so that we can get in touch with and create the space for more of our higher self to land. And we go through this process of really shedding all of these old layers, old identities. We're integrating soul fragments. We're bringing awareness to different things, and we are going through the work to do the healing. Now, as we move up, we start to move up vibrationally, the body through into the fourth dimensional field where there's a lot of fear and things like that initially. And we lean into that. And we continue to work through that. And we're guided. There's still a lot of connection with our guides at this point. Very obvious connection, maybe a connection, of separate connection with our guides, right? The energy still hasn't fully integrated yet. So it's very active in our field and we're able to perceive it. And that's a very, very cool experience. But she was explaining to me that as we get up into the fourth dimensional field vibrationally, something shifts. And we tend to feel a little bit more disconnected from our guides, disconnected from our gifts. Maybe some of you feel like you've lost it or lost something big that you found initially. And that could be very disconcerting. That can be very upsetting. Now, she dove into this with me, and I've gone through this as well, and explained to me essentially what is happening in this phase. So best way to think of it is like you get into a boat, and you pull the motor, you fire up the motor, and you start moving in the boat. You start navigating the water, but you're powered by the motor. Okay, so you've got that kind of back there. If you have a sail, it's the wind in the sail, right? So you're kind of being carried along. That allows you to focus on all the externalness, all of the healing, the communication, the remembering who you are, all of that, because you really don't have to focus on the propulsion of the boat, right? The motor, the engine is doing that for you. So as we think of this funneling, we've moved up into the narrow part and things start to move faster and faster. It's a Venturi effect, okay? It's a pressure differential. And things start to accelerate. And we're really feeling like we're healing, doing the deep dive, stuff like that. And what allows us to really lean into that and focus on that is the fact that the motor is the thing that is propelling us forward, okay? That's our guides, the support, all this external stuff, the research you've been doing, those types of things, the excitement from the new experiences, that's the energy that's propelling you forward. Now, at some point in the journey, when you're in that funnel and you're being compressed, you've done the healing work, your higher self has landed, more of it has landed, and it's trying to find its space. Something shifts in that process, in that funnel. And it's the part of the funnel where we're in the middle of it. So we really don't have a strong connection to where we came from, which was all these external circumstances and all the amazing magic and things like that. And yet we can't see where this funnel kind of expands and opens up at the top, where we're going, which is a fifth dimensional new earth. Those frequencies, those are the frequencies that we are birthing and bringing forward. That's the reality we're heading towards on a vibrational level. Yet we can't always perceive it. So we're stuck in this no man's land where things are happening very fast. We're being compressed. Energy is moving. And as we move up through this tightness of this funnel, the motor that was propelling us forward starts to sputter, and it even dies. It shuts itself off. And wow, that is a really disconcerting feeling. And that is the moment she was explaining to me where we make the flip, we make the switch, we rely less on what the experiences were and the externalness of them and all that magic feeling, and we dive inside. Now, we know we've had a taste of it, so we know it's real. We know it's there. We know we can't lose it. It just feels like we lost it. And that's because that motor was shut off. We're no longer being guided forward by something that we perceive as external. It's all in here now. So we need to turn it inward, and we need to reignite that flame and that motor without having a direct connection to what we experienced down here before we entered that funnel, and without knowing when we're going to come out of this thing, right? At some point, we're going to come out of this thing and enter the magical realm or frequencies of New Earth, right? We don't know when that's going to happen. And that's very challenging for the ego, okay? And that gives us an opportunity to bring up more emotions, more programming that needs to be felt. And we do it without the distractions of all these external experiences. We do it from a different perspective. We do it from a perspective of trusting and knowing that what we have created the space for is now here. We just need to ignite that fire, get in touch with that within, and allow that knowing to start propelling us forward. And that's the stage where most people who have awakened over the last 10, 15 years, I think, are finding themselves now. We're in this phase where we're detaching from the old early awakening experiences, and we're detaching from any future expectations, and we're leaning into trust. Now, this is a manifestation of the amazing healing work that you've done on the sacral chakra, the root, the solar plexus, the lower three, created a lot of space in there. So now we have the ability to lean in and learn to trust. So it's a lot easier to detach. You're finding that you're not needing the support of those old experiences to move forward, even though it may not feel so good in the moment to not have that support, have that wind at your back or that motor at your back. You're realizing that that energy is in here and it's ready to be cultivated. It's ready to be ignited. And that's the connection with the heart space. So we start to lean in to trust, and we start to move that energy up into the heart space. And we start to connect with unconditional love. We do it more. We've always been doing it, but we lean into it more. We start to bring it forward in situations where we may not have a reason from the ego's perspective to bring it forward. Maybe you've been triggered. The ego's like, I ain't gonna flash any love here. I'm not gonna bring that. I'm not gonna find that and sit in that. But you do it. You feel a calling to do that. Maybe you're out and about and you're running into strangers. This has been happening to me for a while now. And you're just giving them a smile. It's just happening. It's coming forward. Okay, that's because you're starting to trust in who you really are. An infinite multidimensional being. The lower three chakras, you've done a lot of healing work, and now that energy is free to get up into the heart space. So it's more available to you. So the more we express that energy, that unconditional love, that gratitude, that joy, and detach from having to have these external things motivate us or move us along or keep us in that high frequency state that we really found ourselves in when we first awakened, that polarity state, right? We had the lower lows and the higher highs. Now that's kind of started to come together. So we don't have that polarity anymore. So we lean in and we trust. And we bring forward unconditional love. And it starts to happen more automatically because you've built the circuitry in the lower chakras. The energy is now able to move up into the heart. The circuits are available. You've cleared the way by healing the subconscious blocks, the energy blocks, the density within the body by moving and breathing and observing. Okay, but yet we find ourselves in this place where we really have to allow that to come forward, right? Because we're in that narrow point of the funnel. Okay, the hourglass, if you want to look at it from that perspective, where it opens up at the top. We're in that narrow space, detached from the past, can't quite see the future, but yet we trust. And we bring love forward along the way with all our interactions. We bring it forward and we trust. And she was explaining to me, we see that as like, this hourglass shape, okay, really represents two worlds. Okay, when you think of an hourglass, we got two spheres on the side, right? We've got the old earth and we have the new earth. And we're navigating the transition in these realities. And it feels very much like we've entered a funnel and we're going to come out at the top. And when we do emerge from this, think of it as a cocoon as well, you're going to bring with you a new earth reality, a fifth dimensional earth. And you're setting the stage right now, detaching from the old and having no expectations of the future. You're taking what you have in here and you're trusting and you're letting that guide you forward. Unconditional love. You're letting that guide you forward. The engine's off. The guides have let you go it alone. Again, you're in this period of maybe a no man's land. Okay, different than a dark night of the soul. A lot of the baggage has been healed. This is a void. This is a space of beingness, a space of nothingness, a space of rawness, a space from where, with a little bit of intention and love and creativity, you'll find that you could manifest in a heartbeat, in an instant. May not realize it yet, but that's the energy that is now stepping forward, becoming more dominant within your physical body, the more active frequencies. Okay, so if you're feeling this or experiencing this, learn to be okay with this. I wanted to give you a representation in my Pleiadian guide. She was really wanting me to share this with you because there may be times when you feel lost. There may be times when you feel abandoned, feel those emotions. They're still coming up to be healed. But you're going to find that the work that you've been doing in terms of healing has created these new circuits. And when you lean into them and bring forward unconditional love, you're going to realize that you have everything you need right here, right now. And the more you flow with that, the more you're going to move up and out into a new reality, a manifested new earth that the rest of the collective will have the ability to slowly be drawn towards as they start your journey. Thank you.